All right. Let's get to it. These things are really good, by the way. Skinny dipped almonds, dark chocolate cocoa. I love Whole Foods. This episode is sponsored by Soundstripe. So today we're going to do a Q&A video, but not just any Q&A video, but we're going to be comparing the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus against the new Rode Lav Go. Where'd it go? Oh, hold on. Oh, here it is. Actually, this is the Rode Wireless Go. And this is the Rode Lav Go. This guy right here, Rode Lav Go. It looks like I'm wearing a ninja mask. So I'll be answering your questions while we test both microphones, and then in post I'm going to switch back and forth, and that way you have a general idea of what each mic sounds like. So I'll be clipping the Rode Lav Go on the collar of my shirt, and the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus is about, I don't know, 12, 13 inches away from my face, and that's a pretty good distance to have when pointing a shotgun mic at your subject. As far as audio levels goes, the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus is attached to the Sony A6000 with the record level set to 7. Is that right? Yeah, 7. And for the Rode Lav Go, I'm going to attach it to the Sony A7 III because it's right here. And I'm not going to set the record level to 7 because with lav mics, they're a little bit more sensitive. And so I brought the audio record level all the way to 1 because I don't really want to peak higher than -6 dB. I want to make sure there's enough room to play with in post. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now we are recording. I'm going to clap so that we can sync audio in post. And I'm going to use the spike in the waveforms to align the two clips together, or let the machines do the job. All right, so first question is from Steven. Steven asks, when it comes down to editing, what better and why? A MacBook Pro running Final Cut Pro, or a Windows PC, or a similar price range Dell Alienware Razer running Adobe, which utilizes, which utilizes Windows, just too many words. Okay, so pretty much between a MacBook Pro and a PC. Honestly, it all depends on usability. I mean, I have both, and I much prefer the user experience on a MacBook Pro. It just works for me. However, I do edit with Adobe products, and Adobe products don't really work well on Mac systems, unfortunately. I love Mac OS, and I don't really film any high-end stuff on this computer, like no 8K, not even any 6K footage. And even though exporting a video in Adobe Premiere Pro on a Mac isn't the best, that doesn't really bother me so much. But then on the other hand, the right PC might perform way better than a MacBook Pro at a fraction of the cost. And so there's that. But at the end of the day, I think it all comes down to usability. Oh man, I can't get enough of these. So good. Next question, do you use Philips Hue in your videos? If so, how do you combat LED banding? It's not so much the banding I'm worried about, it's just, it's the flicker that I don't like about Philips Hue lights. Here's a light strip over here right behind my desk. There's another Philips light bulb over here. And if you take a look over here, if you pixel peep on your screen, you can notice some little lines that kind of just move up or down, I'm not sure. That's probably the biggest downside to using Philips Hue lights in your videos. They're really just meant to set an atmosphere, and so they're not really intended for any video purposes, and so... My homeboy Lee asks, tacos or tacos? Yep. Leron the techie guy asks, struggling with getting my lights right. Got a ring light, a softbox in a room that is 13 by 16. Any tips? Kind of difficult without seeing the space. That is very true. In fact, invite me over. Let's collab. Let's make a video, and I'll help you light up your studio. Ricardo asks, what is a must-have for your website if you are doing commercial videography? A good website? I don't know. Oh my goodness. Classic. Okay, we are done with Twitter. Let's go to YouTube. Twitter. You're the best, Twitter. Oh, and if you're not following me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. It's a blast. Okay, so on the YouTubes, Nikhil asks, is the Sony A6000 worth for a beginner filmmaker? Absolutely. In fact, any camera that was made 5 years ago even, I still think is good enough, even if you're just starting out. I mean, as newer cameras come out, the older cameras tend to get cheaper. That's really good news because then that's more money to get a better lens or a gimbal or a light, a good mic, maybe some tacos. And even though the A6000 only shoots in HD, I mean, it's a good camera to start with. And so just, yeah, get it. Go get it. Grab yourself a taco while you're at it. What's the best single spot to do a time lapse in Vegas? That's a very good question. You'd have to be on top of a roof somewhere. Either you sneak up on a roof or maybe get permission. But I quite like hanging around the Bellagio, Paris area. And if you do a time lapse there, you can see like the twinkles of the Eiffel Tower and the cars like going down the street. And so I might have to do that when I go to NMB next year. So that's a pretty good spot. Dominic asks, as a freelance photographer and videographer, is a formal contract an essential before? Yes, absolutely. Get a contract if you can. You do not want to get screwed. Set boundaries. You need to have boundaries between you and your client. Expectations. And you need to know what to expect. Have a contract. Oh my gosh, have a contract. Michael asks, most important thing you keep in mind while filming YouTube videos. I struggle a lot when I film my YouTube videos because I tend to go in a lot of directions. But that's because I want to give the most value to whoever's watching or listening. I just like passing on information to you guys. And so I try to remember as best I can, am I providing enough value to my audience? So sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but you know, I learn every single time I film a video. And so I just try my best. And last question, well, he's asking 2 questions. 4 questions. What? Daniel asks, what do you need to improve on? Where do you draw influence and inspiration from? I feel I need to improve on my camera work, my pacing and my editing, my color. You know what? Just all across the board, I want to improve on everything about filmmaking and photography. I don't think there's ever going to be a point where I'm like, yeah, I'm at the top of my game. I know what I'm doing. I mean, I know what I'm doing, and I don't think that's ever going to end. Where do you draw influence and inspiration from? Watching movies, watching other videos on YouTube. Tacos, cake. What are your weaknesses in creating? What are you self-conscious about? What do you fear? I fear ghouls. Now, I've been using Soundstripe for a couple years now, and they're pretty awesome. They've got a wide collection of all sorts of music, so whether you shoot weddings, documentaries, short films, or even YouTube videos, Soundstripe's got you covered. They've got a pretty cool and easy to use search tool to help you find the right song for your project. And if you don't really have time to use the search tool, they have an awesome collection of curated playlists for you to listen from. Let's see what they got here. So they got film underscores, they got some chill pop, they have a collection called I Do. That's really good for you wedding filmmakers out there. They've got romantic vocals, acoustic beauty. So pretty awesome collection and really easy to use. And if you want, you can try out Soundstripe for 30 days for free. And if you really like them, then you can get 10% off your purchase by using promo code Sidney10 at checkout. Money in your pocket. I mean, not literally. I mean, money doesn't come out of your computer when you sign up with Soundstripe. That would be just weird, although that'd be very cool. Thanks again, Soundstripe, for sponsoring this episode. All right, well, thank you for sending those questions last minute, and hopefully this informal audio comparison video was somewhat helpful. I mean, I'm as curious as much as you are to which sounds better. I mean, I love both mics. Both mics are great, but I'm very intrigued. I can't roll my R's. Intrigued. I'm very intrigued.